Welcome back to Passionate About Music Education. I'm Rachel Hardman and today we're going to talk about self-care. Now before you turn this video off because you've heard that word used so much over the last 6 months, I want to talk to you about why self-care is important and why as teachers we should be doing this on a daily basis. You and I spend most of our day rushing around from one classroom to another, changing classes, changing year groups, changing direction of lessons, doing different topics, putting instruments away, taking instruments out, attending meetings, answering emails, coming home, cooking dinner, washing up, doing the ironing, all of the everyday busyness that is part of our life. And that doesn't matter if it's changed for you to be at home doing this, whether you're online teaching over the internet, Zooming with your students. Our days are packed, and the biggest problem with our very busy term time days is the inability to reduce stress, to unpack stress. So by the time you get to 5 o'clock and you get in your car to go home, the stress from the whole of the day, the stress from maybe that 8:30 frustrating email that you received, or that class didn't quite go so well, or you got to the photocopier and it didn't work, has built up until 5 o'clock. Then you get in the car, you get frustrated with the traffic, you haven't got any food to eat, and you get home and you're just fed up and you want to go to bed, or you do the opposite of that and you binge watch Netflix into the early hours of the morning, and then you get up the next day not rested. And what happens is that stress keeps building and building, and as humans we do need ways of unpacking that stress daily, frequently throughout the day, to have a healthier and happier version of you. But we're not told this in teaching. We're just being told, hey, this is the new buzzword, we're going to tell all our teachers to self-care. Well, okay, but why? Self-care is an opportunity for you to make you feel happy during the day. And if you are not happy, if your glass is not full, as they say, if you haven't put your oxygen masks on first, then you aren't able to help your students and help your colleagues in a productive way, because that stress that you've been carrying hasn't actually gone out of your body. You're still carrying it. It's not just in the mind, but it's also physically in your body. The tension in the shoulders, the tension headaches, and often we find ourselves, having poor posture, holding our breath more, and just not releasing that. So we get frustrated and it's in us. So to get rid of that stress cycle is not just about unpacking the stress, it's also unpacking it not from just our mind, but also from our body as too, to work our way through that stress cycle that we have, to put our bodies back into the safe mode. Finding healthy ways of reducing stress has become harder and harder in this modern day and age because of the fast pace that we're working in, particularly in education, where we're expected to switch our whole education system on a day notice, to switch to teaching online, to be able to transfer, particularly for music teachers, a very practical subject into a online platform, and maybe still try and keep your band or choir alive, your general music program, try and find technology that students can download for free and access. So there's so much stress that we are carrying around, our brains constantly active, flitting between the past and the future, and that constant anxiety that some of us live in because of the way education is. So why is self-care so important, and not just something that we do in the holidays? It's really important that you do it in the term time, not only to be a healthier version of yourself during the day, but also as an opportunity to start reducing and releasing some of that anxiety, that stress from your day. So if you are having a bath, painting your nails, putting your favourite piece of music on and dancing around your kitchen, cooking your favourite meal, hanging out with your favourite friends, what happens is you are putting yourself into a safe space. Your body realises that it's safe, it's okay to not be in that flight and fight mode, and it's safe, which gives the chance for your body to start to reduce and release some of that stress that's built up during the day. And if you're not doing those 3 self-care activities a day, then you aren't really unpacking that stress. The problem with teaching, and why I find the whole self-care a bit ironic this year, is because if you were ever wanted to go and have a year where you were just putting yourself first and saying no to many things, you would be given shame and guilt and blame and made to feel that you weren't doing a good enough job, you weren't a good enough teacher, that you were being judged. And I think the fact that people keep talking about it in what perhaps is the most difficult time that we've ever probably taught in especially for music teachers with so many restrictions on us and us having to try and spin our curriculum continuously on an ever-changing environment that we're working in, to say, oh, well, just do self-care. It is a bit ironic, really, but the reason we do need to do self-care and beyond just this year constantly is so that you can have those release moments during the day that are specifically for you, that aren't planning lessons, that aren't practicing the piano to accompany a student, they aren't, researching music online for your next band concert, or however much sometimes that can be really lovely. It's still work related, it's still got its own level of stress linked with it. So I'm going to challenge you to really think about how much self-care you do each day, and if we're really honest, and I certainly myself included, we don't do enough at all, because the problem with teaching is it's a very caring profession. We care about our students, we care about our colleagues, we care about the parents, we care about our subjects, we care about doing a good job. We're judged on whether we're doing a good job, so there's that expectation from ourselves to keep growing, keep improving our programs, keep improving our practice. And so we're doing a lot of things for everybody else. That's before we've even come home and dealt with our everyday life, whether you've got children, a family, animals to look after, older parents. We all have our own outside life as well. So there's so much stress put onto us to have this expectation. It's such a caring career profession where we are to give all the time that we often forget to give to ourselves. On your to-do list, how often do you put yourself on that to-do list? Probably very rarely. I know certainly I don't put myself on that to-do list. And over the last 4 or 5 years, as I felt more stressed with the job and more burnt out, and sort of kind of still love teaching, still love students, but I couldn't understand why I wasn't feeling passionate the way I had done 10, 15 years ago, why I was struggling to find the joy. When I dug deep into all of the reasons why, it was because I wasn't finding healthy ways of reducing stress. The stress was carrying along with me, because that's what I believed education was like. That's what I believed from my mentors, from people who came before me, people who were above me in management and admin. This is what they said: oh, your term time is busy, you're always going to be stressed, it's always going to be relentless. That's what the holidays are for. And the problem with that is you get to the holidays and you'd sit down and you'd be exhausted, not want to do anything, and you come back to work and you'd be a little bit more refreshed, but you wouldn't really have unpacked it. And that was a completely poor, misguided message to send to any educator. And that's kind of why I'm passionate about sharing this on this channel, because the stuff I've been learning over the last 3 or 4 years, had somebody told me this 15, 20 years ago as a new teacher, I would have been a much healthier teacher, I would have been much better for our students, and I'd have been a much happier person outside of work, because I now understand why I was stressed, why you have really good months and really good terms, and then suddenly it just goes all terribly wrong. And it was because I wasn't unpacking healthily the stress, because, to be honest, I wasn't really looking after myself. I wasn't self-caring, I wasn't exercising, I wasn't, meditating and journaling and doing all these good, healthy life coach skills. And had somebody sat down and talked to me about this in a healthier way, I'd have been a healthier, better teacher. So the reason for coming onto this channel and sharing self-care and talking about it, because it is a buzzword that everybody keeps going on about at the moment. It seems to be the cool in word. Oh, everybody must self-care. The reason we must self-care and the reason you must self-care is because it is really important for, 1, unpacking the daily stress, and 2, to bring in some joy, gratitude, moments of peace back into your life. You finish the stress cycle and you put yourself back into a safe mode. So therefore you are doing things that bring you joy, pleasure, which will mean that because you are feeling in a more positive mindset, you'll be able to go on to other tasks, go back into work feeling more refreshed and energized. I promise it works. So your challenge is to do 3 self-care activities a day. Go and make a list of 20 things that you love doing. Make that list, work your way through it, keep adding to that list. And to help all our other music colleagues and teachers who are following the channel, write your self-care best practice, the things that you love doing, in the comments below. And I will be back again very soon to talk about some more stress management advice for teachers, as well as great teaching strategies for music educators. I'm Rachel Hardman. This is Passionate About Music Education. If you like today's episode, please leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. See you again soon on Passionate About Music Education.